Hey everyone. So here is a very, very strange case. We've read some strange cases on here before. This one really, really, really is strange. So the case is Qaadir and Naziir Lewis. I don't know if you've heard about them, but they were boys, 19 twins, and they were in Georgia. This is a picture of them. Really good looking kids. I mean, looked like they had everything going for them. So here's the crazy thing. They were supposed to go visit some friends in Boston. They had plane tickets. They were ready to go. In fact, their family thought they were in Boston. Instead of being in Boston, though, they were found, and I think this happened a few days ago. I don't know the exact day. They were found by a hiker on the top of a mountain, Ball Mountain, 90 minutes from their home. Not on the plane, never got on the plane, found on a mountain instead. Now, here's the crazy thing. Family says they've never been to this mountain. They weren't hikers. They had never been to this area. There was no mention that they were going to go to this area. They were supposed to be on their plane. But here they are, both found shot to death. Not exactly the kind of boys that hang out in the mountain, climb the mountains. They were at the summit, the very top of the mountain. All right, even more strange, if it can get much stranger than that. Now, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is saying this is probably a murder suicide. And the family is saying no. I mean, you saw the boys, they're 19, in the prime of their life, going off to visit friends, doing what all of us wanted to do, hop on a plane, go hang out with your buddies at 19 years old. Very good looking boys. I'm guessing they had a lot going for them. But they're saying it was a murder suicide. They're saying that one of them evidently took the other one up there to murder him and then to kill himself. Family, like I said, they're saying no way. Absolutely no way. So with that said, that's quite the story, isn't it? We're going to do some card readings and see what's going on here. I just feel weird about this one. I suppose, we have read some weird cases, and I suppose maybe there could have been some sort of mental health issues going on with one of them. I still don't understand if that was the case. If you were to that point that you were having a mental break, which people do have, you probably wouldn't be like hopping on a plane and going to visit your friends in Boston, though, right? Your family would have noticed a lot of odd behavior. They probably would have been concerned and would have been watching you pretty closely, would be my guess. So, and there was no mention. I watched the family be interviewed. No mention of any sort of mental health issues, concerns. Everybody said the boys loved each other, were not the type to fight, got along well. So it really is a mystery. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to read our usual. I mean, I am going to read separately for each of them, because if one was supposedly the murderer and one was supposedly the one who committed suicide, we're going to have to know that. So we're going to ask about foul play. We know it's not a natural death. So basically this is foul play. Someone else did it, or one of them did it. So I'm just going to put like foul play with someone else, or one of them actually did it. Now, here's a problem too, because maybe the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has a reason they believe the boys did it. You know, they had some evidence to think one killed the other, clearly. The problem with that, though, is what if somebody else took them up there? Let's just say it was gunpowder residue on one's hand. What if someone else took them up there and made them create this situation? It's just such an odd situation. 19 years old, I who knows what these boys may have gotten into, or may have just been wrong place, wrong time, and ended up in a very, very weird situation. Let's face it, very weird situation. So I just think it's very strange. Let's start reading and see what the cards say. All right, so we're going to read Qaadir, and I hope I'm saying his name right, first. And we're just going to ask, was this foul play with someone other than him and his brother involved? That's really what we need to find out. Foul play with someone for Qaadir. Foul play with someone other than his brother involved for Qaadir. Okay, so these are two people in a bad way. These are two people in a bad way financially. And so what that tells me right away is, could they have owed somebody money? That is a possibility. And you know, when you owe people money, sometimes weird things happen. This is a very weird thing. Let's just face it. So for foul play, someone else, okay, I'm gonna go back and forth on this one, because I also have two people walking outside. I call this my couple trouble card. So they're not getting along very well. It's often a card that represents like people getting a divorce or those kind of things. Don't have a lot of money, but let's face it, these kids were about to hop on a plane. They couldn't have been doing that bad financially unless their friends totally paid for everything. But I do see some problems. These two had some problems. That's what I see. So if I'll play someone else, it's pointing to, hey, these two kids had some problems. Not sure what those problems are. We're going to read about it. I'm going to ask, though, first if one of them was involved in the actual murder. So I see two kids having problems. One of them involved in the actual being the one that actually harmed the other. One of them involved in being the one that harmed the other. Well, this is interesting because this is the Fool. And so the Fool card makes me think, well, for one, I get this as a card that says, no, they're innocent. The Fool's innocent. He's just starting to take his first steps in the tarot journey. When I ask guilty, innocent, and I get the Fool, I don't know, guys, I'm getting innocent here. I do see maybe they got in some money trouble. I do see that. But one actually harming the other, I'm getting that they were innocent. So I'm not seeing that in my cards. It's interesting that he is up on a mountain too. You know what I mean? He's literally on a cliff and about to walk off. He doesn't know this. He's kind of being foolish. He's not really looking around. He doesn't really see where he's going. He's got his bags packed, just like those boys, ready to hop on the plane, right? But in reality, he is heading towards a cliff, and he's not even looking where he's going, and he very well may fall. This is the card that's representing those boys. So I'm not convinced that one of them harmed the other one. Not from what I'm seeing. I do see they got into some money trouble. Well, yes, it feels financial. If it wasn't money, it was some sort of things they owned. So let me ask a little bit more about let's just go into what happened here. Because I am seeing the boys innocent, as they did not harm each other. What happened? So let me ask what happened. I do see them down on their luck. What happened here? Okay, so here we have what I suspected. A lot of sneakiness. a lot of underhandedness, taking things that aren't yours. He's got a lot of swords. Those are weapons. So this person is very underhanded, very sneaky. He's a thief card. Makes me wonder about the situation with somebody else being involved. Although, let's face it, that could have been one of them. I have to call it as I see it. It could have been one of them too that behaved this way. So that's our next question. Was it one of the boys that behaved that way? And then we'll pull a card for it, or somebody else. So was this one of the boys that behaved this way? The sneaking, the stealing. I mean, kids make mistakes, okay? So that's his card. We're going to ask, or was it someone else? Someone else behaving this way towards the boys? Was it someone else behaving this way towards the boys? Okay, so this was the card for, was it one of the boys? I actually do feel like it was probably one of the boys. We'll get the someone else card in a second, but this is the Knight of Pentacles, and this is money card, and he's got his eye on the money. Now it's not necessarily a very sneaky card, so I question that a little bit. We will ask about someone else. The boy may have had some money that somebody else wanted, is also a very much a possibility. This person, what this card means, somebody asked me to explain the cards. Knight of Pentacle. Okay, so he is just starting, kind of more on his journey. Page, Knight, Queen, King is the way tarot court cards are. And so no longer a page. He saved up a little bit of money, Knight of Pentacles. He's planted his seed. He's waiting. If you look in the back, he's got the whole ground tilled. So he's made some money, or he has some plan to make some money. And he is on his way with that. So he's got his eye on the prize, his eye on the money. All right. Does that mean he had his eye on someone else's money? It really looks for the Knight of Pentacles like he's willing to put his own work in. He's willing to be patient. He's waiting for it to pay off. Okay. Someone else may have seen that though and been a little envious, been a little jealous. Okay. Someone else. Okay. Now we have the Wheel of Fortune. So, okay, what the situation is from what I see when I have these cards together like that, I don't feel like it was somebody else. I feel like fate and luck changed for these boys. Okay, so things were going relatively good. There was some sort of plan. There was some sort of hope. There were things going in their direction. I see books here. Maybe one of them was off to college, maybe both. I see things turning in their favor, and I see some jealousy. I do. I see some jealousy. Why am I saying that? It's jumping out at me. The snake and the devil. The snake and the devil are jumping out at me. I see some jealousy. Was one of them going to college and the other one wasn't? Something of that nature. I do see some jealousy there. I do. Yeah, I do. One had a plan financially to move himself forward, and things were going in his favor. Let's read about the other one. Okay, so that was one of the boys. Tell me about what was going on with the other one. We've got one boy kind of got a plan for the future, and things are going in his favor. He is a favored one, is what I see. So what about this other boy then? What's he thinking in this situation? Well, he too is thinking of money and ways to make money. This is the Ace of Pentacles. He's thinking of a new start for himself as well. So I get that both of these boys are money minded. I get that both of these boys are thinking of ways to make money, things they can do. I'm not seeing kind of anything that leads me to believe either of them was suicidal. It looks like there is an emphasis on money, and we saw that before. Let me ask now, okay, that we've got a theme going on here. At first, we had two people kind of down on their luck, and it had to do with finances or possessions. We saw them being naive, kind of with that Fool card. We saw this sneaky stuff going on, somebody wanting to steal from them. We saw that they had plans for the future and that they were having plans to make money and that fate was turning in their favor. And so things were turning in their direction. It could have been that one of them, both of them, potentially, were going to go to college, or they found a way, they found the smarts to make money. So with that said, we got it. So they were doing okay. What happened then? What in the world happened that after this we get this? We saw some jealousy. What happened then? Okay. Now we've got somebody that's got some anxiety. We've got somebody that thoughts are running through their head, waking them up in the middle of the night, stressed out, having some issues. We've got somebody having some issues here. We do. And let's find out if this is one of the boys. It looks like both of them were money minded, but was one of them having some problems? I don't want to say financially, mentally. Let's ask that. Was one of them having some mental health issues? Because we do have the stress card, although it very well maybe some other person feeling this way towards them. Was one of these boys having some mental health issues? Well, it is possible that one of the boys was having mental health issues. It's surprising to me, I'll just be honest, because they both seem to have a lot of potential. And yet I do feel like they were innocent in the murder suicide. But yet we've got the death card as mental health issues and what's going on with that. If you were to pull a card for somebody that had a murder suicide wish, the death card might be a card that would represent that well. And yet we saw earlier that they were innocent. Let me ask a little bit more about this whole murder suicide, because the boys seem to have a lot of potential. Let's just flat out ask, murder suicide, is that what we're dealing with here? Because I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't know, guys. These are two people getting along well. These are two people. The first thing that came to me was, yeah, it's two people making a pact, but I don't believe that was the case with them. I think they were getting along well. They looked like they cared about each other, liked each other, cooperated with each other. So I'm having a hard time believing this is murder suicide too. I really am having a hard time. While I got some anxiety and then some death, it's hard for me to believe that it actually came from them, from the cards I'm getting. I saw some sneakiness earlier. I saw some theft earlier. I saw what I felt was jealousy earlier. So let me ask about the person who's feeling this jealousy, the anxiety, the worry, and the person I got this death card situation for. I'm guessing it is not one of the boys from the other cards I'm pulling, but let's ask. Tell me about this other person that these cards apply to. Tell me about the other person these cards apply to. Oh, well, this is an interesting card, isn't it? I do question this because sometimes I do think of this as a suicide card. I'll just be honest. And now it's popping up. This is the Eight of Cups. And so what is it? This person has all these cups filled. He's think of cups as being fulfilled, okay? Emotionally. He's emotionally fulfilled back here. But what is he doing? He is turning off, going away, and he's literally walking towards a mountain to climb it. Look at the card. The moon represents anxiety, things unknown. what you see is not always what you get. Sometimes it's a reflection of yourself, your inner fears, your inner worries. This card speaks pretty loud to me for a possible suicide. It does. It speaks pretty loud to me. And yet, we've got these cards of them being a friends, them being caring to each other, them having plans, them going places. So why in the world do we have a card of people climbing a mountain, literally, and a card that sometimes to me says leaving all the good behind and going off to find your next thing? Let me ask, did someone else lure them up that mountain? Did someone else lure them up that mountain? Because I think of those two little girls, Abby and what was it? Um, the ones in Indiana. Sorry, I can't remember both their names. But they were lured down the hill and taken to this place, and someone could have technically set it up so it looked like a murder suicide. I wonder if something like that is going on. So let me just say, was this a setup of somebody else involved? Well, now we have loss, and we have the sadness, and we have the spilled cups, and we have the feelings of being unfulfilled. Do feel like one of them did feel unfulfilled. I do get a feeling that somebody, I'm going to ask if somebody else was hurt by them, because it's questionable to me. Was someone else hurt by one of these kids, and this was more like a revenge? Was someone else hurt by one of these kids, and it was more of a revenge? And I've got two cards here. Well, that's the magician, and the magician makes things happen, makes things disappear. And we've got this guy who is the King of Pentacles, who is very much a person who is really on top of the game and in his best place financially, often in missing person readings or readings like we're doing now. This person owns a lot of land. They're very well off financially. So here's some weird thing with this whole magician and trying to make things happen, and then this whole being well off, very well off financially. There's a big push on finances here. There's a big focus on the financial situation here. It did not appear they were robbed from what I saw, but let me ask about did someone do this for money? Because I keep getting this whole money property. Did someone else do this for money? Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, and it does feel that that's a money card, as with the King of Pentacles. It does feel like one had less money than the other. At their age, who cares? You can continue to make more money, but I do feel like there was some sort of jealousy there. I keep wanting to say it was jealousy outside and someone else, but I also have some cards that make me feel like maybe there was some jealousy in between them. So I'm going to ask one more time. Did one of them commit this, or did somebody else? Because that is what it comes down to. Did one of them commit this situation? Goodness, I cannot get these cards to pick up. Did one of the boys, cause this situation? Unfortunately, that is the Truth card. That is my Queen of Swords. It does make me feel, I get this card when I'm asking a question, and it's like, yeah, that's true. I do feel like one of the boys did cause this situation. It's bizarre, I know, because they both had so much potential. They did. We did get that innocent card earlier, but he also was about to walk off a cliff. So Let me see if anybody else was involved. Anyone other than the two boys involved in this? Was anyone other than the two boys involved in this? A very strange situation. Okay, so this does make me feel like, well, the hermit does things alone. He does. It does make me feel probably not, probably not, probably not. Because the hermit's not inviting a bunch of other people out or hanging out with them. Hermit's let's face it, he's somebody that hangs out alone. All right, so what do we have here? Let's just recap. We've got cards of somebody being not in the greatest situation financially, but they both of them had hopes and dreams and progress towards having more money and possessions. There really is a focus on money and possessions here. And there is I got my full card of, you know, just kind of following along innocently. But I also have my card of deception, stealing with a weapon. Why this mountain? Why was it Ball Mountain? Why this mountain, Ball Mountain? 90 miles from their home. It makes no sense. Why Ball Mountain, 90 miles from their home? All right, so again, we have two making a pact, and I don't understand this, but that's kind of a coming together card, a marriage card, although it feels like one of them did not understand maybe what was happening here. And we saw that situation here too, where it was like a pact. Let me ask if they both knew this was, let me ask if this was planned, for heaven's sakes, by both of them. Did both of them know this was a situation? Did both of them know this was the situation? It really does make me feel like, yes. The Ace of Cups is a card, strangely, of like emotional fulfillment. But what is coming to me strangely is Corey Gaucher. I know, why is she in my mind? She jumped off a bridge and we got this card for her. And I said, yeah, this kind of reminds me of a bridge. And she committed suicide. And I've got here Miss Gaucher jumping in my mind on this thing. I will say this is strange. I'm going to ask one more time, was somebody else involved? Logically, I feel like somebody else has to be involved. The cards showing me that there was issues of jealousy over possessions between the boys. What siblings don't have that, though? To the point that you would climb a mountain far, far away and kill yourself, kill someone else. It doesn't really make sense. It just does not make sense. So let me ask, beyond the boys, was someone else involved in all this? I feel like, how could they not? Beyond the boys, was somebody else involved in all this? But we've got like the Hermit card coming up. That is communication. So there may have been communication from somebody else that was involved in all this. That's where I feel we need to go with that. There may have been communication from someone else involved in that. Perhaps someone got them to do this. It's a very strange situation. You know what I'm thinking of, and I don't know. I don't know if this is it. Sometimes people are so afraid information is going to come out about them. I'm remembering some of those suicide shows where there was something about something one had done. I think one of the boys had gone online and like he thought he was talking to a girl and showed himself. And then they were extorting him for money. And he ended up going and committing suicide. There were those two twins, and they're popping in my head in where were they? In another country, not the United States, that committed a pact and did something. But these, I feel like there's some sort of communication from someone else. So let me ask why. If the situation is that they did do some crazy suicide pact, which I know sounds nuts, why? Why is this? And this is a card of judgment, and that does make me think a card of making choices. Let's face it, the judgment, you're making a judgment. It's also a card of being called home. The angel is calling those people to come to them. Again, I question, it does seem like somebody made a decision. It does. I hate to say it, it does feel like somebody made a decision. I do see some other communication going on. Let me ask if the boys were being kind of extorted. We saw a money theme here. So were these boys being extorted? I mean, they're young kids. You would think they would not be the people that would be extorted. Were these boys being extorted? That does make you wonder. This is the Lover's card. So what were they involved with? Who were they involved with? It does make you wonder. It does make you wonder. Somebody close that may have caused problems. You hear about those things of, and I see the snake again jumping out at me, and here it is on that tree. And then we get that here with the jealousy and the envy, the snake and the devil here. I just feel like with the Lover's card, was there something with someone's ex-lover? We've got this communication and this decision. It does feel like there may be some other person involved that may have gotten some sort of, we asked about extortion and wanting money, and it does feel like a money theme here, and it does feel like potentially someone taking advantage of this situation. Let me ask, what else do we need to know? What else do we need to know about this situation? It's very odd. It's very odd. What else do we need to know about this situation? Okay, I think all of this is going to be solved. It is, because this is my Ace of Swords. That's like, hey, the police are going to solve this. So there's more to come on it. There is. It's not over right now. They're going to find out more. They're going to solve it. They're going to get this whole communication thing and see what was related to them acting in this manner, because there seems to be some sort of communication from someone else behind why they acted the way they did. So that's good. What will I wish I had asked? That's always a good one to ask. After this reading, what will I wish I had asked if I don't ask it now? Oh, okay. That's card of planning. And I didn't ask, was it planned? Maybe I better ask that, huh? Does look like maybe I have my answer. Was this planned? Was this situation planned by the boys? Was this situation planned? Huh. Okay. So there's two, which make me think of the boys. These guys look exactly alike, don't they? But there is a higher, some sort of looking up to this authority that makes them feel like they're following this. This even could be a spiritual thing, following this person who is leading them, guiding them. In the technical sense of this card, the Hierophant is somebody who is a leader, who others look up to. And we saw that whole communication, this weird thing there, and possibly a lover. So either, and we also saw some jealousy and some weird stuff going on. We did. Um, but it does feel like maybe this was, I asked if it was a plan, and it does feel planned, not only by them, but kind of following someone else's plan. Think about this being a church thing, right? This is a church guy. He's telling these other two, like, okay, now I need you to do this. Now I need you to do that. They're like the guys that maybe go collect the money, do whatever. And that's interesting. I just said collect the money. I would question. I would question more along those lines of what that situation was, what they may have been involved with ahead of this, what kind of communication they may have received from somebody very close to them. If it wasn't a lover, someone very close to them. When I get the lover's card, it can be someone very close to them. What kind of communication did they receive? In some way, I think they were doing something that was right. It does look like maybe it was planned. Let's just throw out the big why. I have so many questions. I feel like I have more questions than answers now. I do. I do. Why? Why would they do this? Why? All right, well, here's my why. Not seeing things clearly, blindsided often, making decisions without knowing all of the outcome, the facts, what's behind it, kind of being a little blinded by there, right? And then there's that moon anxiety, nervousness going on. But ultimately, over here, we've got financial gain. And I saw that earlier too, this whole financial gain. That makes no sense to us, does it? Because how are they going to gain financially if they are past? Oh, wait, we saw this other person that was sort of involved. We saw some jealousy, we saw some envy, and then we saw this a little bit of sneakiness going on, some sort of communication that may have led them to go to that mountain. And in some weird way, there seems to be a little bit of financial gain behind it. Okay, with that all said, that's a mouthful. What do you think? You saw the cards. It's a confusing story. The boys do look like they had it planned from what I can see, but it also feels like there was another influence on them that made them want to do this, which is pretty wild. I'm just going to ask real quick if drugs were involved. Nobody's told me that. Were drugs involved in here? No one has told me that, but there's a lot of like cards focusing on possessions. Were drugs somehow involved? And sometimes when I get the pentacles, they can be drugs. I don't know. This is the angel, temperance, just a death card. I'm not necessarily seeing that drugs were involved. It just looks like they wanted to die, or somebody wanted them to die. And I don't know. I don't know how spiritual these kids were, if they thought they were reaching some sort of spiritual enlightenment, or somebody else had them convinced of that. There does seem to be some religious connotation behind this potentially. They looking at their pictures, they don't seem especially religious to me, but what do I know about them? It does look like, for whatever reason, someone else had some sort of influence on them in their mind, in their beliefs, that led them to do this. And that the police will find that out and will announce it. I think they're going to find the communication like on their computers, things like that. Let me ask about that. Will they find some of this communication? Because clearly there was some communication there going on. I saw it. So will the police find this, what led them to do this? Okay, so possibly they will find about them going in that direction and moving towards that mountain and why they did that instead of going to the airport where they were supposed to go. So I think they will find some of that stuff out. I do feel like they were going with their heads bent low, down, I feel like there was some sort of shame, if you will. I do. And in their minds, they thought they were leaving the rough stuff behind and going forward into kind of this better place, which is why I question about the spiritual and what their religious beliefs were. All right, we're going to see what more comes out on that case. It looks like more is going to come out, more will be solved. So I think we'll have a better picture of it then. But go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are on that situation as well in the meantime, because it is a very, very bizarre case. All right, thank you guys. Take care. Bye.